Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, the Edified Gamer, where you are my lovely students, and we are coming back again to our IJN Let's Play on War on the Sea. Lovely naval tactics and simulation game here. So we're going straight in again from the previous episode where we were playing a game of cat and mouse with an American supply convoy on its way to Guadalcanal. And we are going to be trying to taking it on with our submarines and surface fleets in this episode. So let's try and jump in. I will see you on the strategic map. And here we are. So join me now looking at our fleets. We're going to look at moving our submarines over now towards Guadalcanal and trying to intercept the supply convoy that we saw coming around this direction. They were only just under our capes, as you see in the north there. So definitely going to come down here. We're going to try looking at bringing our task force down here as well, because we are going to expect a surface engagement. With our carrier, we are rather low on Kates and Zeros now. So we are going to have to try and rearm her. But so I'm thinking actually of looking at using supplies from other bases. But unfortunately it doesn't look like we have that at the moment. We are going to have to rely on Rabaul, which is a real shame because it would have been nice to get a supply convoy of our own up just to come down to the Shortland Islands again. But we can see that we do actually have enough fuel and engineering on the Rabaul to actually come down to the Shortland Islands. So we're going to have a very quick look and see if we can actually afford these ships at the moment. Also, apologies if you can hear something in the background. The people mowing their lawn outside is very loud. Do apologise. But unfortunately, that's going to come to just a little bit more expensive than what we can afford, only by a couple points there, which is really sad. So we are going to have to send our carrier all the way back until we can afford those. But hopefully we'll be able to sink a ship with our submarine here. We're going to have a look at getting some aircraft, but let's have a look. We're going to send them out around here, see if we can catch up with the task force, and then get them to scout around down here just to see if anything's going on behind our backs. And there we go. All right. So can we do anything with anything else here? No, we're going to just check on this one and check the course here. I think we're going to try and launch another aircraft here. I'm just going to actually try and look for that carrier task force. I haven't quite forgotten about that. I do not want that popping up in our backs. So we'll do that in a minute. But I do also want to make sure that task force isn't accompanied by another supply convoy down here. And I will reach you again when we've made contact with the enemy. Alrighty, so join me now. We've just made contact with the enemy fleet just off the coast of Guadalcanal. They're dangerously close, and we are unfortunately just behind them. We are going to be tailing them with our torpedoes, which means we do need to get into a good position, or as good enough as we can, so we get a decent firing solution on them. Of course, with our torpedoes chasing them, that's not going to be quite so likely, unfortunately. So we are going to try and identify this ship here, just to get our solution up as much as possible, and then try and move into a decent position with our submarine. So I'll see you when we get as close as we can. Oh no, we're going to have to scratch that. They've clearly been alerted to our presence somehow. We weren't going overly fast, although it was full speed for us at 8 knots. That shouldn't be so loud for them. We are a couple kilometres away from them. But for some reason they've decided to use their searchlights. You can only assume that their Kingfisher in the sky, you can see on the map there that would pass over us, might have sonar, maybe detected us somehow, or saw our scope. So what we're going to do is launch an emergency spread of torpedoes and get the hell out of here, because this is not good at all. We're going to launch a spread of 4 torpedoes at 2 degrees distance between each other. So we're going to wait, of course, to turn our bows just to make sure the torpedoes don't have to turn too much. We can see the destroyer coming in here. That looks like a Marne, I believe, coming in. It's not good. That's the one that's going to be hunting us down. So I think we're just going to go straight for it here. And instantly, turn around and get this straight out. and we are going to be removing our periscope and diving down to a decent depth there, just to cover our backs. it's not going well at all. Instantly order a retreat, and we'll see what happens with that. Oh, we can just about see our torpedoes coming in there. Might actually just clip the destroyer here if we're lucky. Come, there we go. Lovely bit of collateral damage there on the Farragut, I believe that is. That's brilliant stuff. Yeah, look at that. That's the two smokestacks there. Definitely the Farragut. Very heavy fire on there. If we got him with two, that might have sunk him actually. That would have been really nice. But let's see, we might just clip this one. We're going to miss our primary target then by the looks of it. Come on, torpedoes, please. Oh, I might not be able to sink anything with this then. There's one. And no, we're not. No, we're not going to get a second hiss, I'm afraid. That is rather unfortunate there. I would have loved to have sunk a supply ship before us got to Guadalcanal. That would have been ideal, but we're going to look at a report. Yeah, that's not enough damage at all, but some decent damage on the Farragut here. Whether we're meant to or not, we'll take it. So, yeah, we're going to look at, just identify that so it can come up properly on the campaign when we do look at it. Just to log it properly for us. But that's not looking too bad. Could definitely have been a better strike, but I think the fact that we were behind them and then they got alerted to our presence somehow definitely brought us back there. It's, yeah, could have been a lot better. But you know, it can't be perfect all the time, and with this being a simulation, well, closer to a simulation than arcade, it's okay, we're fine. Let's leave. So with that, we're going to try and bring the Takao task force down and actually get hunting them. We were looking there at getting some planes up. This is of course too dark to do that. Which would have been nice, but we're going to get our submarine down to try and catch up with the enemy there. So let's just see what happens. They have managed to land troops on Guadalcanal. It's looking like we are going to lose that because we've not reinforced it at all. Which, you know, it's okay. There's nothing on there at the moment. It just means that we're going to have to build us up ourselves later on with more troops and such. That's something we can do once we get more points, of course. And once we need to sink at least one more ship to build up a convoy of just 2 ships that we wanted. We are actually going to have a quick look to see if we can catch them on the tactical map here. It's not very likely. I don't think we've come out of the what do you call it? I don't think we've come out of that area yet where we're not allowed to make contact with the enemy. There is I think, a 1 hour grace period between engagements where they're not allowed to meet each other. That's just how the game works, unfortunately. Not quite so realistic, but there you go. So yeah, there's just nothing out here, unfortunately. Not going to find anything. So I think we're instantly going to leave here and just see what happens. And yet, not too long after that at all, it appears that the enemy's made great speed away from Guadalcanal. We have managed to engage them with our submarine over here. So we are going to go into tactical and see what we can do about that. Let's just have a quick look. How close are we to them? It is of course very dark and the sea state isn't great. Not being overly choppy, but yeah, some thick waves on the sea there. It means we're not going to get a decent firing solution on them, but that does also mean that it's harder for them to detect us. Let's have a quick look around and see if we can spot them with our periscope. Can't see anything too obvious. Just we can see them to the distance there behind us. If we look closely in the left, yeah, there we go. All right, Let's have a quick look and get down to a decent depth again, because we were thinking about turning on our surface radar, but now that we've got a clear sight on them, I think now that we have seen that they've unloaded their troops, there's not a lot of point going for their supply ships. We're going to go for one of the heavy cruisers. And I think because it's closest to us, we're going to go for that New Orleans just there. I think that make a decent target. Hopefully this time we might be able to sink something. So we are going to actually identify it, so we get hopefully get a better firing solution from it. Yeah, it's just there. Well, we have already sunk in New Orleans apparently. I can't remember exactly when that happened myself. But yeah, so we're going to get into position. We are going to lose contact with it while we're moving into position, but that's okay. We'll raise our periscope again and such. Oh, there we go. A lovely, lovely torpedo strike on there. All of our torpedoes hit, which is quite lucky actually, because our firing solution was only about 64, of course, out of 100. My only fear is that the spread wasn't quite wide enough, so we couldn't hit many components on it. We are going to order a retreat there. Yeah, we can see it's on some fair damage there. It's heavy, but not critical. And the reason for that, I think, is because, like I say, the spread wasn't wide enough. We couldn't hit enough components to actually damage. So all of the damage is in one section of the ship. So fingers crossed it will sink, but we will see. Oh my god, I love that. Oh, nice little love touch there, just to ask for a bit of help, I'm sure. Look at that. Oh my god. That is beauty there. You're taking a screenshot of that. You don't see this too often. Or at least not in my playthroughs, I haven't. Christ alive. Well, hopefully that's caused a little bit more damage, but they weren't going at a huge speed there. Maybe if it were a bit faster and more head-on, it would have done more damage, but we'll see when we come out. Returning from that battle onto the strategic map, we can see that they have, of course, just double-checking the progress of that invasion there. We're going to set some course now that we know where the fleet is. We're going to try and intercept them again with our submarine and see what happens, but we are hoping for a surface engagement now with the Takao task force. Once it gets light again, which won't be too long now, we're going to, of course, send out some recon planes, which is now, of course, brilliant stuff. Didn't have to wait too long at all there. So, of course, first thing we're going to do is try and send a recon plane over here. We know how quick the AI likes to be, so we're going to go in a wavy pattern over here. We're going to try going towards the submarine and then out again to see if there's anything else lurking around there. And we are going to send a recon plane out here, just in case they decide to retreat up here, and see if there's anything hiding around this edge of the islands over here as well. We're going to try and get another one off as well from this heavy cruiser. And we're going to go back to our rear in case there's something lurking there. See how paranoid I am in this game now. And of course we're going to see if we can get our carrier back now that we know we're not going to get supplies out anytime soon, because I was hoping to have sunk something in the last couple of engagements there. Unfortunately not so lucky, which does mean that our carrier has spent a lot of time out of action now. Unfortunately just not enough strike aircraft to make a difference at the moment. So we're going to go again, just recon in front of everything there, just to make sure nothing's there. Of course, with the planes being fast, it's much easier. And we are going to send a Jake out from our I-17 here, just again to look for that carrier, because surely it's still out there. It must be around there. It's been rather quiet the last few hours, hasn't it? You can see actually one of their catapult fighters, indicating that they're down here. So we're going to try and chase that with this Jake and see if we can find the spotted by 2. There we go. Okay, see, this is the thing. That's got to be exactly the same task force there, and it's made such speed out. AI be cheating. Oh dear. Especially with, I imagine that New Orleans is still sort of dead in the water. I hope that gets sent back to port. They do look like they're idling now that they've been spotted. Let's see if this gets them patrolling. It doesn't look too useful. Let's make a custom nav point there for it. And see if we can catch it in a second with our Takao task force. Just go straight there, yeah, beeline for it. Bring our submarine up just so we can might be able to get another couple of torpedoes off. Maybe on the Northampton, or maybe sink the New Orleans there. We're going to go into tactical and see what happens with that. So, with that being said, where the ruddy bloody hell are they? There we go, you can see them in the distance there to our port. And that is actually a somewhat favourable position for us. I would have liked to be at a steeper, at a wider angle from them, more face onto their side, but that's okay. We can see the Farragut here is still battered. The New Orleans is listing a hell of a lot. That really should have sunk. I would actually put money on the forward magazine bit having exploded, actually. With so many hits there, it must have done damage. I bet those front 2 guns are out of action. It was a rather devastating attack. I'll see you in a second. Ah, yes, there they are. I can see them. We are the crouching chameleon ready to pounce on the flies. But we can see that the Northampton, which we're targeting, has actually decided to change its angle for some reason. Almost as if it knows we're here, which is rather scary. But it's decided to go back into formation now. So what we're going to do is just wait a little bit, wait for it to commit to the turn. We do have a decent firing solution, but of course it is going to change its speed. And that's going to ruin our torpedoes' aim once they're fired. So I think we're going to go... Yeah, let's go for it. That's looking like they're committing to the turn now. So we've got 4 torpedoes on a 2-degree spread. Hopefully that will hit it. And in multiple compartments as well. Better than New Orleans. Fingers crossed we'll be able to sink something today. It's not been our day today. Jesus Christ. Alright, so with that being said, we're going to go, of course, dive down again and try and down our periscope and get out of there, because there's no point hanging about once you've launched a spread of torpedoes. Unless you feel like you've got enough time, of course, to build us another decent solution on a different ship. Or even try getting a manual aim off, but we'll see what happens. Surprise, surprise, we missed. We missed in New Orleans. We can see the torpedoes on the map there, far off its stern. But if we're lucky, we might just hit a supply ship there. We're going to see what happens. Spread's not looking so bad for it. But yeah, we've missed this front one here. We can see them off there where the cursor is. I'm just waving at it for you. Where the stream is. So we're definitely going to miss this one. But what about this one in the back here? Might just clip it with 1 if we're lucky. Really like to hit something today. There we go, there's 1. Maybe another one? No? Oh, that is so unfortunate. Oh no. I've started rather a large fire on it, but 1 is not going to be enough to sink it. Well, you know, my disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined, of course. So we're going to get out, and yeah, I'll see you back on the strategic map. That bloody Northampton is very close. It's very lucky, rather, to survive that. A little shit. That's because it was changing its course, and that when we fired, we should have been more patient. It is down to us, but we'll see you in a second. So with seeing that, we are going to go beeline straight for that fleet with our task force, and here we go, instantly in range of them. Looking rather far apart though. Looks like we're going to be chasing them. We might, if that's true, we are going to be very lucky to actually do any damage, I think, because the AI will definitely try and retreat as quickly as it can. Yes, just, you do not want to be on the receiving end of being kited. It's just not fun at all. We can't get much in. So we're going to make sure we're off a fight. We'll turn all of our radars on. One reason I went for the Yugamos rather than Akazukis in majority is because the Yugamos actually have surface radar, which is a bit of a rarity for Japanese ships, which should really help us identify ships. And we do of course have a Jake in the area as well, which is going to get us some line of sight on their ships. They do have a Kingfisher as well, but it's nothing really to worry about. So we should be okay. We're just going to make sure this Jake is set to circle them. Once we get round to it, there we go. Got a nice place on the map. I want to stay out of their AA range, of course. I don't want to lose a Jake just to this, or at all, really. You know, don't want to end the episode on, 1 loss and 0 kills. But yeah. So with that, we're going to start targeting them and just identifying, seeing exactly what the range is. Yeah, that range is just outside of our destroyer's range, which is not good. We'll be in range of them with our heavy cruisers. Yeah, just going to check. Yeah, we're definitely out of range with our Yugamo. Just a few moments later, we decided that we are definitely in a decent range with our heavy cruisers. So what we're going to do is try and get our secondaries off at least and hold on with our main batteries, I think. Just so we don't waste so much ammunition, because our solutions are, of course, terrible at the moment. We're going to, with both Mogami and Takao, like I say, get our secondaries off. Just get some spotting fire on them, so that hopefully we can build up some sort of firing solution and get our main batteries on in a second. What we're going to do now is just double check that we are going to stay in a circle formation with our task force. Yeah, that should be how we want them there. So we're going to click format, just to make sure, like I say, so when we start moving, like now, when we start chasing them properly and getting into a decent position to get all of our guns firing on them. We have had problems in the past where we forget to turn to form up and such, or stay in formation, and we can, if we don't do that, we'll have collisions on our hands, which we do not want at all. So, but we are of course opening fire on their Kingfisher. We're going to start issuing some hold fire orders, so that when we are in range, we'll be able to instantly open fire. This isn't going to build up any firing solutions for us. You can see that's a New Orleans still dead in the water, so hopefully I think it's probably worth firing now with our heavy cruisers. Since it's dead in the water, they should be able to build up a decent solution fairly easily. And after firing for a few minutes on them, we have built up a slightly better firing solution with our heavy cruisers. So we're going to stop using spotting fire and just fire a full spread of it, armour piercing at them. Again, particularly at this New Orleans, hoping that we'll start getting some sorts of hits, but it's not looking good. I would have really liked to have had some sort of hits already by now. But it's really not looking like it's going to happen. We might have to end this battle rather early, rather than let us drag out and try and get into contact with them at a closer distance in the future. So what we're going to do is come back down with our secondary to do spotting fire with those, and with our main batteries we're going to look at spotting again, because our main battery solution just isn't good enough, to be honest. We're not going to get any decent hits with them being so far away. And I get the feeling I'm going to start using smoke canisters soon to hide their positions. We'll see what happens. hopefully we'll get something decent. Again, slightly further on in the battle now. We're not gaining a lot of distance up to them. We're not closing that gap as quickly as I'd like to. Although they have changed around to looking like they're trying to engage us. So we're going to keep persisting. We are still using spotting fire because our solutions just aren't good enough still. We can't get them up. I would love to get to at least a 60% solution, but hovering between like 48 and 50 or so is not quite good enough. Even without the spotting on, it's just we're not getting anything. Even that New Orleans, I'd love to get that. Look at it, it's listing so badly. Its deck's nearly underwater. Surely we just need a few hits on it. And looking at it with the back turret there, actually being able to fire with the other forward turrets in a different position, we might have been right actually thinking that it wasn't, the magazine might have exploded there. And even further on in the battle here, you can see our solutions just aren't getting anywhere. We're not closing that gap again either. We have closed the gap a bit, but for some reason it's not helping. So we're going to go one last volley and see what happens. You did see that we were holding fire for a bit there to preserve our shells. So that'll be half the reason why our solutions are down, but we'll give it one more go and see what happens. But yeah, it's just not going on, is it? Not having a great time at all. Having said that, I do regret to say that they are laying smoke now, which means that well, they're doing it with the New Orleans, which is weird. The battered ship. I suppose if they're going to sacrifice something, might as well do it to something you're most likely to lose. But yeah, I think we're going to call it there with this battle. It's just we're not getting anywhere, unfortunately. We will try and make contact with them later on. We're going to order a retreat now, and the fact that we can retreat immediately means AI just doesn't want to do it either. So look at that, really terrible there. Nothing's happened, no losses, no damage to us or them. But having said that, thank you all for watching. I think I'm going to call the episode to an end there. Just not happening, is it? So I've been the Edified Gamer. Thank you all for watching, and I hope all your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.